Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the May the Smoke Be With You podcast. This week's episode promises to be a spicy one. Today we're joined by David Figueroa, who, along with his brother Greg, are the men at the helm of the hot sauce giant Melinda's, a company that makes some of the best hot sauces, barbecue sauces, jellies, and ketchups on the market. Please welcome in, as he just told me he likes to be called Chef Fig. Hey, Chef, how are you?
Good, good. Nice to meet you, Joda, right?
Yeah, Joda. Yeah. You can call me Joda, Joe, whatever.
I love the way you answer comment on social media.
Yeah,
Um,
it was,
I'm
I
always laughing. I love it.
channel my inner Yoda and
Yeah,
have fun with it. It hopefully it sticks out, and it has with you, which is great.
I love it.
Obviously we're big fans of you guys.
Thank you.
Loving your product. One of the things I love to do on this podcast is just kind of hear your story a little bit. So
Yeah.
I'd love to just kind of go back and really, like, where did food kind of enter life for you? Where did you kind of start this love affair with food?
Oh, I was very blessed to grow up in a multicultural household in Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah, seems like about as middle America as you can get. However, my parents
Yeah.
are from Belize, both of them.
Okay.
And mom on mom's side is Spanish and Palestinian, and dad's side he's Spanish, Mayan, and also Lebanese. So
Oh,
we've got
wow.
tons of exposure to not just Central American, Spanish, Yucatan style, which is a very Belizean,
Mm-hmm.
food. It's very similar to everything you see in Yucatan. We were also exposed to amazing Middle Eastern foods from a young age, and what was really cool is that my dad always had. I didn't know this. These were little signs, right? My dad always had an habanero bush in the backyard.
Okay.
He planted one every year because he grew up in a small town in Belize called Cayo, or district Cayo district in a small town called San Ignacio town. And tortillas and beans were a big thing. That's rice, beans, tortillas. Very Spanish, very mountainous. He grew up eating habanero as a side dish. So he would have his tortillas. My mom would make fresh tortillas almost every night, little stack of tortillas, and he'd have his habanero pepper. Sometimes it was roasted, sometimes fresh. It would be cut just like a gash in it, just enough to
Okay.
squeeze the juices out of it. And he would just mash his tortilla down into that. And then he would use that like to scoop up whatever he was eating or whatever. So he always wanted that habanero flavor in his food. And so, as young, curious kids, you want to do what dad does.
Of
And,
course. Yeah. Be like dad.
we started touching that pepper at an early age and, feeling the sting of habanero from the very beginning. And I kind of got that I guess gene or whatever for growing things, and I have always carried on that tradition. I've always got my parents are building dwellers now, so they don't have an habanero anymore, but they can come to me for chilies and fresh herbs because I grow everything that I can in my little backyard in Texas. So,
So you pronounce that habanero. So
well, yeah. So my
I
wife
mean,
says I say it wrong. Habanero,
okay.
habanero.
Well, I mean, I'm trusting you as a guy who grew up with it, and his dad
Hey,
had a bush in the backyard.
if I was saying it in Spanish, it'd be habanero, right?
Yeah.
Habanero, habanero.
Yeah.
But for all the gringos out there, I say habanero. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. I hate to admit this, but I
Mhm.
grew up in Michigan. I don't hate to admit that part. I like Michigan. But growing up, I think we just called them jalapenos, and which is,
Well, I mean, I don't know how old you are. I'm about to be 57, but when we started this company 34 years ago, you couldn't even find habaneros anywhere on the market.
right.
You would just go to the grocery and you had jalapenos, fresh jalapenos. That was about it.
Yeah.
Maybe bell peppers, and
So
so
the
when we brought Melinda's around, we were one of the first companies ever to bring a habanero product into the United States. And Dave DeWitt, old Chili Pepper Magazine, now Fiery Foods, now retired, Pope of Peppers, he gives my brother Greg and I a lot of credit for helping to make the habanero a household word.
so how many years has Melinda's been in business?
June will be our 34th year of doing Melinda's in the United States, and now we branched out into Canada as well, and we're making some inroads into the UK. We're in the Middle East, Philippines, so and Mexico and parts of South America. So we're slowly trying to branch out. One of the issues we're running into right now is we're building another plant
Oh,
right
wow.
now as we speak to keep up with the demand. Right now,
Hmm.
Walmart can barely keep it on the shelves.
Wow.
Um, I go to grocery stores coast to coast. I'm always peeking my head in whenever I'm traveling and checking stores, and it's amazing how low the stocks of Melinda's are out there. And we're just trying our best to keep the domestic market here in the United States supplied.
Yeah,
So
it's
we literally need to double our capacity to keep up. We're blowing up right now,
it's
and
a wonderful compliment. You have to feel good when it's probably both.
it's a better problem than not being able to pay your bills. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah. You walk into a store and while you're pained that the shelf might be empty or there's just
yeah,
one or two bottles left, you're also, you know, that people are loving your product. And I mean, you're in Austin and you're, I won't say who, but I mean you're meeting with another large food market there, and which probably means more demand and more shelves to fill, and all that. So what made you start this 34 years ago? You thought, you know what we should do? We should start a hot sauce company. Like that's
well, my brother came with the sauce. He was doing import export, working in Belize and Central America. Our family is heavily involved in citrus and industry down there. So he was trying to, help people out, buy things, sell things for people, that kind of stuff. And he stumbled upon the hot sauce. We had an original arrangement with Marie Sharp out of Belize. And then 2 years later, this guy that worked for us who was, I guess he was an executive, and we were all 2 years out of college, right? So
everybody was a VP, senior
yeah,
VP of
everybody has a
something C
VP.
suite.
But this particular VP decided that he would introduce Marie Sharp to our master distributor behind our back over in Europe at
Oh,
a
that was
trade
nice of him.
show. And the next thing we know, they started cutting off our supply. Now, she tells a different story where, we tried to use tricky laws and stuff like that. But, at the end of the day, I was 22 years old. My brother was 21 when we started. We were 23 and 24. And all of a sudden, our supply was cut off.
Wow.
They weren't sending pepper anymore. And then we found out really quickly that they were working in cahoots together to try to take us out. But we did have a contract, and the contract was pretty solid that we were the marketing arm, they were the manufacturing arm, they were manufacturing for us. And originally we wanted to call it Margaret's, which is my mother's name.
Hmm.
We didn't want it to be Melinda's. We wanted it to be Margaret's. And Marie Sharp back then begged us and actually signed over paperwork giving us the rights to the name Melinda's, and then calling us crooks when she tried to circumvent the relationship
Wow.
and go elsewhere. And so when she made that move, we made our move to Costa Rica and we opened up a manufacturing there. And now we're in Colombia, and, 34 years, 2 years of business with her. And, 34 years later, here we are. Melinda's is about to have its best year ever in sales. We made a couple of products with her way back when. She's done really well for herself with Marie Sharp products. She was a manufacturer for us,
Yeah.
and we even have our own recipes. We didn't copy her recipes like she likes to tell everybody. They just, I don't know why they like to open with a negative, but whenever they go out and do marketing, we run into them all the time, and we
Yeah.
hear stories that they open with the negative story, and for us it's like whatever. So I'm glad I get to tell you a little bit about it, because
Yeah.
every story has two sides, and at the end of the day, we're Melinda's Foods, and we have 32, pretty awesome hot sauces. Then we have our ketchups, like you had mentioned. We have our
Yeah.
preserves, and we're really proud of what we're doing. We have some new products that are going to launch this summer, and like I said, we're before I can even do new products, I have to try to figure out how just to keep up with the current demand. Melinda's is
For
really going
sure.
through a glorious phase right now.
So would you say that, I think people look at you guys and see you on store shelves. They think overnight success, because you're about ready to have the biggest year of the company. And I think some people are just discovering you, just kind of, and really we're kind of on that side. Truth be told,
Yeah.
kind of found you via Instagram, and that's kind of how we were introduced to you guys. But as you kind of look back and you're 21, 22, and you find you as brothers, you're in this battle. Um, how do you think that has kind of shaped you guys as you've moved forward in your business relationships? Um, did it make you just a ton more cautious? Did it make you jaded
Well,
at all?
contracts and trademarks and stuff like that, they held their weight in court. We had our day in
Yeah.
court, and we walked away with the Melinda's brand, rightly so. Um, uh, every phase of business is a new struggle.
Mm,
Nothing is easy. Paying bills and making payroll is not an easy task, right? Anybody
yeah.
that goes to business school, that's the one thing they don't teach you. They don't teach you cash flow, and they don't teach you how to
Yeah.
sleep at night when you owe somebody money and you and you're owed money, and then you got to play
Yeah.
that dance. So, but we're very entrepreneurial, and after that incident, we thought, well, we really need to insulate ourselves more, and we need to diversify. So we started doing a bunch of other businesses, and we got into distribution for other companies. And so we started doing a lot of other things, and Melinda's became like a passenger on the train. And
Ah,
then Hurricane Katrina hits in 2005, and that kind of shook our world. We had to move our operations from New Orleans to Dallas because we were
okay.
wiped out there. Most of our
Wow.
employees and everyone had problems. And so
Mm,
we moved our company in 2005, and then we started getting involved in other things: beverage mixes, sleep shots, energy shots, cocktail syrups, coffee, you name it. And then about 6 years ago, we finally just said, you know what? Melinda's has been this passenger on the train for all these years. We really need, and at this time, we only had the 14 glass bottle sauces and the ketchups. We didn't have the new condiment squeezable line that's just been, a tremendous success. So
yeah.
we said, well, okay, let's get our heads together. Let's get a business plan together. Let's do this as if it were a startup, right? Let's start Melinda's.
Hmm.
What does Melinda's need? Let's do market research. Let's identify areas where we see growth. And, we just sat down with a plan, Joda, and we hit it hard, and we've been hitting it. And my thing was that I said from day one is that I don't care how amazing the opportunity sounds. Do not bring it to me, or I'm going to throw you out of my office. I don't want to hear about it. I want to hear about Melinda's until the finish line. I want to blow this company up. And my brother and I got on board together, and as a team, we're unstoppable. That's simple as that. I'm the marketing guy. He's the business guy. You get us both heading in the same direction together. Look out. So,
Well, talk about that a little bit. What's it?
yeah.
What's it like working for your brother? Because I imagine you say, "Hey, we're as a team, we're unstoppable. We both have our strengths,"
Yeah.
but yet you're still family, and it's
Yeah.
still got to be tough at times.
Well, I mean, we grew up together. We're Irish twins. So Greg is.
Okay,
I'm gonna.
real close. Yeah.
On June 8th, I turned 57. So right now, his birthday's May 1st. So right now, we're both 56. Yeah. So we had the same bedroom growing up together. Okay. We
Okay.
had the
So you learned to work through conflict at a
same
very
first
early age.
same first apartment together. Greg and I can have a fight in front of the whole company, and everyone thinks it's the end of the world. And 5 minutes later, we're walking out the door together to go have lunch or something, and no big deal. We're brothers. But
Yeah.
the good thing is we both have different interests. We're both different in every way possible. But we both think alike when it comes to how we want to grow the company and how we work together. And we have mutual respect for each other. We both have completely separate interests and hobbies, and we don't really cross over a whole lot. And I think that if we both wanted the same prize, yeah, there'd be a lot of brawling going on. But we both have clearly defined roles from day one that we settled into, and we both love what we do. And he comes to me, I come to him when we need each other, need things, and we get it done.
And more family members in the business, right?
Yeah, so we're blessed. As you've been talking to my daughter Isabella or Bella.
Yeah.
She's on the community management and customer service and influencer engagement team. My son Penson is the brand manager. He's here with me in Austin for our big meeting tomorrow because he's my brand manager, and he does all of the grocery pitches and presentations. And then my nephew Carter, Greg's son, he is an attorney, and he is our COO, so he's our chief operating officer. So he's running day-to-day operations, and he's also our corporate counsel. So we got
Nice.
an attorney in the company now. Look out! Don't steal my stuff.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So,
Yeah.
when you talk about clearly defined roles for you and Greg, like what lane do you run in? Like, where's your sweet spot?
So I am marketing. I run the Melinda's marketing, or I run like a small in-house ad agency. So I'm responsible for packaging design, for um, website, for Amazon sales, website sales,
Hmm.
digital advertising, all ad campaigns, the sales department, all collateral materials, et cetera, et cetera. Greg is on product development and business management. He spends more time at the plant working on the formulas. We spend a lot of time together tasting, coming up with new ideas,
Hmm.
and then he does that execution. So it's and on the business side, he's one of the best. He's an amazing negotiator, smart business guy, understands. He's always one of the smartest guys in the room wherever you are. So he's really good at what he does.
So when you guys talk about development, making new products, what's
Mhm.
that process like for you guys? From who has the idea? I imagine it's probably either of you at different times, and then what's that process to get it from that?
Well, I
Man,
mean,
we had an
processes have
idea.
been as simple as I made a video the other day about our ketchup origin story, and the origin story was as simple as we used to spend a lot of time before we could afford to have lots of employees and warehouse workers and stuff. We were out there packing boxes and loading trucks in the evenings after a day in the office, and we were there late, and we would buy a staff meeting, and everybody that stayed late to work, which was a lot of guys, we all kind of, it's like a fraternity, right, of
Yeah.
guys that all work together and early on in the business. And we'd get a big meal, and we'd squirt out a big pile of ketchup and start dousing it with some hot sauce, stirring it with a french fry. And there's the lab right there, right? That's the test
Yeah.
lab. Oh man, that tastes good. I like that. Let's bottle that. Okay, let's bottle an habanero ketchup. And then from there, it became a jalapeno ketchup. And then, ghost pepper and a chipotle. And so back, just some of our ideas have been as simple as that. Some of them have just been, some of them we've watched the market. We've seen that, and then the market changes. When we came out with Melinda's and we had habanero peppers on the market, the habanero was the world's hottest chili pepper at the time.
Right.
It was the Guinness Book holder, and then all of a sudden, the red Savina comes along, and it's twice the heat. So we come out with a red Savina hot sauce, and from there, peppers, chili pepper explosion happened, and you have all of these botanists and agricultural guys geeking out and making hybridization peppers and
Right.
cross pollination and grafting and all this stuff to create hotter and hotter and hotter chilies. And then chilies also were discovered, right? So I'm sure that the ghost pepper, the boot jolokia and the naga jolokia were already there and already in use, in Northeast Asia, in Northeast India at the time. And chili pepper people found it, and then cultivated it and brought it this way. And, now it's being grown all over the world. And, it's a phenomenon. And then from the ghost pepper, it went up from there, to where we are today with the Carolina Reaper. So
Right.
we have a scorpion pepper. So we've come out with peppers. Everybody's asking us to come out with a Reaper right now, and we're working on it. But sometimes peppers just aren't commercially viable. They're not easy. Not everyone is easy to grow as the next.
Mm.
Habaneros are very easy to grow. So are jalapenos. Ghost peppers are tricky. Scorpion peppers are very tricky, and as you get up into the more specialized peppers, they get more difficult to grow. They're more
Yeah,
finicky.
that makes sense.
It's hard to get a big yield, and you need a big yield to do what we do.
Yeah, to produce at that level,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Your sauces, it takes really just one taste to recognize that what you guys do
yeah.
is different than I feel like it's unlike anything I've ever tasted. So what's the difference for you guys? Kind of a
Well,
softball question there.
for in the world of hot sauce, so right now, when Greg and I decided to get together and really push Melinda's, we were the 21st 20 went ranked 21 in the country in grocery. Now we're 10 and looking down
Yeah.
at the top. We're headed to the top, right? So the companies at the top are really big, like
Mm-hmm.
huge, where, you know, 10 times, 20 times our size,
Right.
So, but they have a common denominator. They're all red sauces. It's
Yeah.
Frank's, it's Tabasco, it's, you know, Tapatio, and they're all the same. They're all either Mexican or Louisiana style red sauces. There's no innovation. Innovation is coming from, companies like Melinda's, where we're shaking it up. We don't have that one hero product. We have a conglomerate of flavor, and we're ranking really high, but we don't have one. We can't just say, yeah, one hot sauce is way up here.
One.
All of our sauces
Yeah.
together are operating as, the brand, and doing really well. We're killing in grocery stores where we are, and we continue to expand, and we just love what's happening right now.
The major difference between you and some of those larger brands, I think, is the absence of, for the most part, one key ingredient that a lot
Well,
of them
we
use.
we do have vinegar in our sauces,
But they're
but
not vinegar forward, I would say, right?
no,
For
no,
the
no.
most part. Yeah.
So the difference formula wise is that when you start looking at the difference between Melinda's and you start to break down the ingredients, is that we've always had a vegetable and fruit base. So
Mm-hmm.
peppers, they're a fruit. They're also a fruit, right? So the fiery fruits, and
Yeah.
we've always worked with exotic ingredients. Papayas, mangoes, passion fruit, great peppers. And we think of each one of our sauces to be paired right with a pepper. So, like sommelier thinking, chef thinking, it's like, oh, this pepper has citrus notes, and this pepper,
Hmm.
and it needs this help. And to create that balance of heat and flavor, I say this, and no offense to anybody out there, but any dummy can make a hot sauce hot, right?
Right.
I mean,
Yes.
I can blend up 20 scorpion peppers in a blender with a little salt and a little vinegar, and there you go. I made a
Yep.
hot sauce, right? Super hot. It's going to burn your eyebrows off. But
Yeah.
is that really what, there's a clique out there. They like that. They want to
Yeah.
be punished. But for the most part, your average hot sauce consumer wants it to be tasty and bring some heat to it. And they also don't want it to be obnoxiously sour or overpowering. Like some sauces, are very sour and vinegar forward, as you said, and it takes away from the fine balance of a long cook. If you're stewing something for hours and you have a great flavor in your stew or your gumbo or something like that, last thing you want to do is blast it with hot vinegar. You want something that mixes in well. And we've
Right.
always felt that Melinda's is really good at that, like blending into food, providing heat and flavor, because the ingredients we start with are the ingredients you start just about anything in your kitchen with,
Yeah.
the
We were doing
Iroquois,
the.
the Holy Trinity,
Yeah.
all those things. We start with a vegetable base that like any chef would start with.
And that was we have four girls, and we were doing kind of an unboxing of several of your sauces, and one of them said, I taste carrot, like in
Mhm.
the sauce. And the other thing that really kind of blew me away is, even, you've got, I think it's five little flames, I think,
Yeah,
on each bottle to kind of let you know what you're getting into. I don't think even your scorpion isn't crazy, doesn't melt your face off. It has flavor
yeah,
versus just pure fire. I it I You have to try it to to really appreciate it, I think. But even all our girls, they do like spice. They don't love it. But they'll do hot things. And even them trying the scorpion on a cracker, like they were not screaming, running away. And that's 5 flames. That's as hot as, one of your hotter sauces.
I drank some the other day at the Byron Nelson, the ghost pepper. Some guy kind of said, well, you do it and I'll do it. So I did it. And I got the hiccups after. It was still hot. But I mean,
Yeah.
yes. But what I'll say is that, I drank some of my ghost pepper sauce, and what I tasted in my mouth was citrus and vegetable.
Yeah.
And I didn't I just wasn't being blasted, by chili. And that's that heat and balance flavor. And that's something we're known for. We're known to, original slogan of ours was the perfect balance of heat and flavor. Well, Frank's Red Hot came along and stole that from us and put their
Oh, that
name,
was nice. That was nice.
trademarked that. Well, I think they're flavor and heat. I think they changed the words around a little bit, but
Yeah.
our new slogan is set your mouth on flavor, right? So
Yes, which I love because that's what it does.
clever. It's very
Yeah.
clever, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And we love it. But we still say heat and flavor because we started saying heat and flavor. In fact, our Instagram handle was heat and flavor for a few years there.
Okay.
But that's what, at our core, we're heat and flavor. We're making hot sauces that don't suck.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm glad to hear that you say that you got the hiccups because it is one of like the things that happens to me sometimes if I'm just eating something hot. It's just a little hiccup. It's just the body, I guess, going, "Hey, that's a little hot." But yeah.
I can't do it. My friend James Beck, the hot sauce boss.
Uh huh.
He is an animal. He drank a bottle of Ghost Melinda, a 5-ounce bottle of Melinda's Ghost pepper sauce while I was telling people to come to his store on video. And then, of course, people are like, "Oh, he didn't really drink the whole thing." And I'm like, "I saw that. My wife
Yeah.
was on the other side of the camera filming us, and I was watching it.
Yeah.
Did it, and then he didn't even flinch afterwards. He's something else."
Well, I don't want to talk to him the next day.
No, he's
His
guy
body's
like
used to it.
nice guy before and after a 5
Yeah.
ounce bottle of Ghost pepper sauce. I mean, he does all those crazy challenges. He takes the Packy chips and the
Yeah.
little chocolate skulls. Like, not for me. It's
Yeah.
not
Right.
a very sensitive palate. I'm a taster.
You guys really have seemed to find a good spot here in the barbecue community. The folks kind
Oh
of
yeah.
doing outdoor cooking. What do you think attracts the folks in that barbecue community to Melinda's?
Well, I'm not trying to shove my barbecue sauce down their throat.
Yeah.
Because barbecue guys make their own sauces, right?
Hmm.
So where I feel that well, I have a lot of respect. I'm a pit master. I like to get out there and do my thing, and I have a lot of respect for people that are doing competition and really out there doing the hard work grilling.
Right.
Um, I've got some good friends and influencer friends in the world of barbecue and grilling, and I love meeting everybody in that space. And Melinda's gives these guys a toolbox. So um, when you've got as many different sauces as we do and the jams and jellies, I just love giving these guys everything and watching what
Yeah.
they do. They're
Yeah.
melting jams and jelly in a pot. They're adding sauces to that. They're chopping up fresh things, and throwing that in there, cilantro and scallions, and coming back over with, sesame seeds, and just
Right.
create, I gave Mike from Blazing Star. So Mike from Blazing Star, he has a great seasoning line,
Yeah.
amazing out. And so,
Yep.
and in fact, I think it's part of our giveaway, isn't he? In part of the big giveaway we're all doing.
He's not. He's not.
Oh,
But
he's not.
it's not
Oh,
too late, Mike.
Al
Yeah.
Fergoni is.
Al Fragoni. Yes, and Hey
Oh,
Grill Hey are the two.
Al's great. Al's a buddy.
Yeah.
But so Jealous Devil Charcoal, they're in with you, right? I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now they call, when you use Melinda's, Blazing Star, and Jealous Devil together, it's called the Ultimate Barbecue Combo. And
Okay.
I didn't come up with that. Other people came up with that. And I was like, well, I'm going to keep saying that because I
Yeah.
agree. I do it all the time. I make ribs. I rub them with Melinda's honey mustard and sprinkle some of Mike's porking on there. He turns around and makes a video with some of my sauces and some of his seasonings. So
Yep.
there's a lot of mutual respect, a lot of love in that community. It's a great community with people that really love what they're doing. They're dedicated to it. They're hardworking, And
Yeah.
some of these guys are producing content almost every day. That's tough. I
It
started
is.
doing this recently, becoming a content creator, and it is a full time job on top of a full time job. And I'll tell you what, respect, hats off.
Yeah, it is. It is tough. So you just kind of mentioned that you're a pit master. Where did you first kind of fall in love with barbecue, or does that go all the way back to kind of mom and dad?
No,
As kids.
mom and dad were pretty basic on the grill. Nothing great. But
I didn't have anything great growing up either.
yeah, a lot of other good food. Barbecue wasn't like something that my dad did. My dad's not much of a cook. Where I started just literally cooking in my backyard. I would be the guy that would do a barbecue for my family. And then as I got older and moved out, I was always fascinated with grills and stuff. And then early '90s, right when just a few years after we started Melinda's, we opened up a restaurant called Up and Smoke, and it was a barbecue Latin fusion concept, and it was doing really
Okay.
really well. I couldn't serve two masters, but I
Yeah.
had a wall size rotisserie smoker, and we would make brisket and ribs and pork butt and chicken and turkey and everything, and then we would pair that with if you wanted regular barbecue sides, you could have that, or we could make you a burrito, a quesadilla,
Nice.
loaded nachos with the barbecue meat. And the restaurant did really well for a couple of years, but it became physically taxing for me to try to run a business during the day and then come into a restaurant and work it at night. I had zero quality of life, so I got out of the restaurant business and opted for the day job with the desk and the chair,
Yeah.
and got off my feet because if you've been in the restaurant business, it's a brutal, it's brutal on the back and the knees and the feet. You're always standing and you're always on the go. It's not easy. It's a hard
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, for sure. What's your specialty? What are you cooking at home on weekends then when you have
Oh
time?
man, I love to barbecue, but I also, would make a cochon de lait. I love to do gumbo. I love to make Belizean foods that my mother taught me. I love to do Middle Eastern food. My brother-in-law is a world-class chef, and we'll get together. And he's Iraqi and Israeli,
Oh
and
wow.
we'll get together and really throw down. He makes some really cool things I've never seen before, and he makes the best falafel on the planet, and
Okay.
I make pretty good shawarma, and I make the hummus, he makes the baba ganoush, my wife makes the kafta and the rice, and we all get together, and before you know it, the whole table's just full of
Yes.
amazing food, and we get in there and we throw down.
It
And
sounds
everyone loves coming to my house. I'll tell you that. And everyone that's ever had an invitation to Casa Fig loves coming to eat. They know they're going to get treated well. Yesterday for Mother's Day, my mother asked me for tacos, so I did carne asada
mm,
and cochinita pibil. So we had two types of tacos. I cooked for 2.5 days.
oh wow.
But each one of those tacos has its own little process, and we just like to be as authentic as possible.
What was the second taco? Because I'm not familiar with
Pibil,
that one.
tacos pibil, cochinita
Okay.
pibil. So that's where a pibil or a pib is an underground cook, and cochinita
Ah,
is a small pig. So I don't have
yes.
little small pigs handy, but we use pork butts. But where this was developed in the Yucatan, the pibil taco, they have this breed of very small little pigs. They don't get very big, and they dig a hole in the ground. They line it with stones, build a fire, put it all
Mhm.
into a big pot, put it down in the ground, cover it up with leaves and sticks, and then pour a tarp, and then pour dirt over the top of it. And the next day you come back and you dig it all up and you eat like a king. So
Wow.
it's it's ricotta, which is achiote, a blend of spices that used heavily in the Yucatan. It's like garlic and lime and orange
Mm,
rind and all this stuff that goes in there, and the annatto pepper, well, the annatto seeds, and
mm,
it's all ground and roasted. And they do a red version, and then they have a black version that is called black ricotta, and that's where they take that blend and they keep toasting it in the kamal until it gets black. And
wow.
that seasoning is hard to come by. The red's easy. The black's really hard to come by.
Mhm.
Usually, when I have family or friends or myself go to Belize, I stock up and bring it back because I can't even find it on a website, but I can find it
Wow.
every once in a while on Amazon. I get lucky on the black. The red's easy to find because a lot of Mexican tiendas carry it.
Okay.
Yeah, and it gets rubbed with that and sour orange and things like cinnamon and clove and black pepper and allspice, and then that marinade goes on, and then it gets wrapped in banana leaves and then put in a vessel, a pot, big pot or something. So I take that big pot and I stick it on my grill.
Okay.
And that's my offset smoker, one of my grills, I should say.
Okay.
I've got quite a few. And the offset smoker is my old school smoker. I just bought a new pellet smoker for all the pit masters out there. I'm not selling out. I believe you can have different types of grills.
Yeah.
It's this is I'm not a I don't I mean all these barbecue groups, and they always fight. They're always arguing. The pellet guys are on one side saying,
Yeah.
"Well, I slept last night,"
Yep.
and the stick burner guys are like, "Well, you're just using an easy bake oven, and you're
Yeah.
cheating." I'm like, "Who cares?" At the end of I want the payoff. The payoff is a beautiful brisket or some beef ribs or whatever it is. That's I'm getting older, and I'm loving the idea that I can put some wings on there or something and forget about it for an hour, come back, flip them, come back. I don't have to worry if my fire went down or too hot or
Right.
whatever. And I can actually get some emails and stuff done while I'm making some content. I mean, that's
No,
what I bought. I bought it to make content. I can't wait to get it. It's called a
okay.
Blazing pellet, actually recommended by my buddy Mike at Blazing Star, Mike
Okay.
Star, and
Nice.
I get it next week, and I'm pumped. I can't wait to start cooking on it. But my other grills are yakitori. I love doing yakitori.
Nice.
I always have a Weber kettle.
Got to.
Have
Just
that.
classic.
That's just you want to make a fire, you can do it in that.
Yep.
And then I have a good old gas grill for utility. When the winter hits and you got to cook something.
Yeah.
But I have one more grill in my sights, and it's some
Okay.
kind of Argentinian style.
Yes. Me
Haven't
too.
figured out which one yet.
There are so many, and
Yeah.
there's and I saw another one today. There's a group out here in Knoxville, Tennessee, TMG Pits, and they were showing their Santa Maria today on Instagram,
There's
and I
so
was like,
many fabricators now making cool
oh,
grills.
that
I'm
just
going to meet
just
the owner of Tagwood next week
oh, nice. Yeah.
this in May with Al. He'll be with Al Fragoni, and Al's the master of all that out open fire cooking,
Yes.
and I just love what he does, and I love what he does with my products, and he's giving me advice on which one of these grills suits me, and I got to
Yeah.
figure out where I'm going to put it.
It might need to build an addition onto that deck. I don't know.
I think so. I think it's
Yeah,
time.
that's the problem I have. I think
Bigger
coming
house.
home, yeah, and saying, "Hey, I really need an asado style setup out here," and they're like, "No, I don't." My wife's like, "No, I think we're good. I think
Yeah,
we're
when I
good."
lived in Louisiana, I had 2 acres, so I could, if I wanted to dig a hole, I could dig a hole.
Yeah,
Well, now I'm living in Dallas, and it's tight.
yeah,
Land is tight in Dallas, and so before I could even hear my neighbor scream, and now I can kind of smell their breath. It's too close.
and your mom appreciated all the effort for the tacos. They turned out good.
Oh, she ate like a pig. She loved it. She loved it. Yeah, she did. She did. She did appreciate it. She's the reason I'm cooking. She taught me a lot, and continues to blow me away when she cooks. She's so talented. But
Mm.
I've taken over like the big family duty stuff. Like when it comes to Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that, I'm the guy in charge now.
You strike me as a guy who likes that, though.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
I want the job. Yeah. So now I'm trying to find out who's going to be my heir. I
Okay.
can't. I have a gumbo cook that I do that takes 3 days, and I can't
Wow.
get. I can get everybody interested in coming to eat it, but I can't get my son or my nephews yet, or my brother to come and spend a little time with me while I'm cooking it and learn. So
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to do like a full video on it and just
That they
break
can
it.
watch when you're gone.
Yeah, that when I'm dead, when they throw me in the ocean, they can
Hey,
they
so
can break
I'd
out
like
the
to like
video.
some
When they get
gumbo.
hungry for gumbo, they can
Yeah.
figure it out. Yeah.
We're like, how do we play that? How do we play that video that Dad made?
I just had my first grandson. Maybe he'll be the one, you know?
Oh man, that's great!
Maybe
Congratulations.
it skips a generation. Maybe he'll be the one. So
That's great. So, tell me a little bit about family. It sounds like you have how many kids do you have?
I have three,
Three.
two boys and a girl. My brother Greg has three as well. He
Okay.
has two boys and a girl. And then I have a sister, and she has two, a boy and a girl, Raquel, and she's in Louisville. And then I have my baby brother. He doesn't have any yet, but he's a neurologist, and so
Oh wow.
he's solving problems out there for people, real problems.
Hey, you guys are all solving problems. You've solved a lot of problems for us at our house when these hot sauces showed
No,
up.
thank you, man. Thank you, thank
Um,
you. I love to hear that.
yeah, some of it, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about some of our favorites. I love the pizza hot sauce.
Oh,
I think it's great. It's so good
yeah,
on pizza. Family
on
loves to make.
everything.
Yeah, for sure. We
You know
also
what I
use
really
the
like the pizza hot sauce on is like Middle Eastern food. It has that
okay.
right touch
Hmm.
for like gyro or a shawarma sandwich or something.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Um, we use the spicy garlic parmesan as kind of a white sauce base for a pizza, and that turned out great. Um, and I really like that scorpion. Like it is, it's legit. And then the Mexicana is just a great what I just like a table sauce. You know,
I
you just
find myself reaching for that a lot these days.
yeah,
I can just sit down with a bag of chicharrones and get the
just
Mexicana out, man.
yeah,
It's over.
yeah. It just again just flavorful. Has just a little tiny little bit of heat. Not much there at all.
It's not
I th-
that much. You know, that sauce is so funny because it's the the gringo world wants less of that chili, like cumin and chili flavor in their
okay.
sauces. You taste something like Valentina, it's
Yeah.
real heavy, heavy, heavy chili. You know,
Right.
it's almost like you got powder in your mouth. And I would say same for Tapatio.
Hmm.
A little more dialed down with Cholula. And I say that our Mexicana is more, I really think it suits the American palate. You know, the average American palate more so. You know, and it's a solid sauce, Taco Bell sauce. I have a feeling that, you know, a lot of people taste that and they go, it's a lot like Taco Bell sauce.
Maybe that's why I like it. Yeah, going back to those high school days when I'd go through the
2
drive-through at
o'clock in
like a
the morning.
midnight, yeah, and get five burritos. Like what was I like?
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine driving through anywhere right now and saying, "Give me five bean burritos, please." But that's what I used to do.
Now it costs
Uh,
25 bucks.
that's true. Back then they were 59 cents, so I was a big spender. Uh, Sometimes I would order like two drinks just so they wouldn't think that they were all for me. I'd be like, and just give me, two Pepsis, please. So I felt very judged and I felt a lot of shame then. So, well, hey,
That's for
what's next for Melinda's? What do you want people to know about what's coming up for you guys that you can share? That's not too secret.
well, I mean, we have some new products coming up. We did a post the other day where we asked people what they would want to see as the next Melinda's products. And I
Hmm.
will say this, that a couple of them are right.
Okay. All right.
And that there's going to be some new sauces sometime this summer that are going to really excite people. And, you know, they'll only be able to buy them at melindas.com first. So,
Okay.
you know, they won't be out there in wide distribution. But if you're a member of, you know, our email list, of our SMS list,
Hmm.
if you're following us on social, one of those three ways, any of the Melinda's Foods or Melinda's Hot Sauce socials and the melindas.com, you can sign up for everything there. If you're following us, you will know before everybody what we got going on. It's going to be really exciting. I think it's, you know, going to
So
be
you still get
spicy.
excited with new products. When
Sure.
something new comes out, you still get pumped and
Yeah.
excited.
I
Yeah.
mean, Mexicana is still a baby to me.
Yeah.
Fire Roasted was reborn. You know, we had a rebirth for Fire Roasted. When we
Okay.
moved plants from Costa Rica to Colombia, we didn't have a pepper roaster right away. We had to The one in Colombia, I mean, one in Costa Rica was hand crank.
Oh my. Oh
And
my
now we
goodness.
have the fancy one with the motor that, like you see in front of Whole Foods or something like that during Hatch chili season, right? So
Yeah.
we got one of those fancy ones. We roast the garlic and the peppers. But that one to me is a rebirth. That was a sauce that went away for a couple of years. People freaked out. And then we relaunched it, I think, bigger and better than ever. And, when I see how well Mexicana's done, that we sat there and we came up with this new style sauce. And, we're competing with some big boys, Tapatio and Cholula,
Yeah.
some serious size companies. And, we get an article in Food and Wine that puts us in the upper echelon of Mexican style hot sauces. So
That's great.
Mexicana is being compared to Cholula and Tapatio by Food and Wine editors. And, I feel like, blown away by that. I'm humbled, and I'm
Yeah.
also
It's got to feel so good.
challenged to keep doing it. Like
Hmm.
we want to win. We like to win. We like to compete. It's business is competition, and all of this food stuff is competition.
Yeah. When's
Yeah,
the that new factory going to be done? When is that going to be online for you
we're
guys?
hoping to have it a parallel line set up by July 1, which
And you
probably
said
means
that's being built in Mexico, or is that in Colombia as well?
Colombia, Cali,
Okay.
Colombia.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Buga is
Uh,
the town,
all right.
and yeah. So we're at it hard. We're at it hard.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep up. Walmart has some big plans for us in the near future. And when I say big, I mean little. Those little itty bitty bottles of Melinda's,
Oh, nice. Yes.
they. I mean, I've never seen anything that we've ever made sell like this. The
People just
little
love it's just there's no
they
very little
want
investment for a lot of potential, a lot of flavor. You can try it.
they
Uh,
just want to try, or they want to be able to carry it around with them. We
oh
were
yeah.
just literally in the car, and we pulled over to get some kolaches. You always stop and get kolaches on the way to Austin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I wish I had some sauce. And my son whipped out a fire roaster. He's like, yeah, I keep one in my bag. I'm like, yeah, you do. Of course
You're a
you
good
do.
boy. You're a good boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Good brand manager.
That's right. That's right.
So
Well,
we had our little taste on the way down here.
love it.
Yeah.
Was that at a Bucky's or was it at a real kolache shop?
No, we went to Slovacek's. We did the
Okay.
real deal.
Yeah.
We're gonna stop at Bucky's on the way back because they're a customer. We love Bucky's.
Yeah. Our family loves them. We didn't really get out of town for spring break this past. I was kind of doing events with my day job, just kind of didn't quite work out. But there a Bucky's had opened close to us, and so we
Nice.
drove down. It was about an hour away, and we got up one morning on the day they opened during spring break and went down there. And I mean, the girls thought it was vacation. So
Did they get to meet Bucky?
yep, he was there. He was
Yeah,
there.
I got to meet
Yes.
Bucky too. It was great, man. I took a picture with Bucky and everything. It was
Yes,
great.
I got the picture too. It was
Yeah,
good.
I love it. I love
Uh,
it. What a
I ha-
place. I mean, how you build something that and people come to it like it's a theme park. Like
it's an attraction. It really
there's
is.
something else. Like, just mind-boggling to me. The size of their parking lot and the amount of people flowing in and out.
Yeah, I mean, what is it like 110, 120 pumps, something like that? Just crazy. Just I can't imagine how they keep those tanks full because I mean, there's people just there all the time, and it is and really for gas station brisket, for gas station tacos, like it's good road food. Like
Good.
I'll eat it every time. Um, I I
Slovacek's was good too. So,
I'm. It sounds good to
one of the
me.
good things about traveling the highways in Texas and in Louisiana is there's so many places to stop and eat.
I bet.
It's just, if you
I
see
bet.
smoke,
Stop,
go, yeah, you go check it out. The
especially
best
in
places
Texas.
are just like a pit on the side of the road,
Oh,
little shack. That's like,
yes.
I've always found to be like the real find. But
So you're in Dallas now, you said.
yes, yes.
Um, do you have? I won't put you on the spot and say your favorite because that would be probably too hard, and I don't want you to put you at a in a position with a community there.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
do you have a handful of barbecue spots that are your go-tos, or when people ask you where should I go, do you have a list of like three spots there in Dallas that you kind of send folks to?
Well, I always think that there's a place called Lockhart in
Yeah.
South Dallas,
Mm-hmm.
uh, in the Bishop
Bishop.
Arts area.
Yep. Yep.
Solid,
Yep.
always solid. Pecan Lodge,
Yep.
always solid. However, there's so many, and I was lucky enough a few months ago to go try Goldie's, which is number one on the list right
I've
now.
not been there yet.
Oh man, that was special.
Is
I
it?
took my nephews and my brother, and we all went, and we waited about an hour. Didn't take long,
Yeah.
and we did $900 worth of barbecue. Like I took a huge clan of eaters, right?
Okay. Well, I was. I hope it
About nine,
wasn't three.
about eight or nine of us, right?
Wow.
And
Those beef ribs add up, though. If you're like, hey, give me.
well, the amount of brisket and the beef ribs that were, I mean, and we ate most of it, which was really good.
Yeah.
But they do something. So my brother, the doctor, he's Steven, he's very technical. He's been trying to figure out exactly how Goldie's does it, and he's read some articles, and he's now
Okay.
they go hot and fast, then they wrap, then when they wrap, they pour in tallow, and then they
Yep.
just put it like on a hold. So it goes into like a two like 175
200-degree, 175. Yep.
200-degree hold for like 6 to 8 hours after it's hot and fast smoked till it just becomes like jello.
Mm.
So he's been trying that. He's got a rec tech. He's been trying that technique on it. He says he's got it kind of figured out. But going there was like it was the best brisket I ever put in my mouth. And
Oh,
I also, a lot of people kick the Salt Lick down the road, but I'm a fan of the Salt Lick. I love
yeah.
the setup, the original in Driftwood. I love what they do. It's a place that I used to travel to when I used to had a
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend in Austin and went to UT and used to hit the road all the time, and we'd end up at down in Driftwood, and just a great place. Just badass where you can land your helicopter if you had one. To
Yeah.
come eat
You,
brisket
you
and
need to get a
ribs,
helicopter.
which
You need to
I'm
get a
telling
helicopter fig. That's
you,
what you need.
with a Melinda logo on the side, that'd be sweet.
I tell you, I like your dreams. I like your
And
dreams.
and I like a place called Slow Bone. They make like good old everyday killer barbecue. It's right in the design district off of
Okay.
35. That is not bad at all. I have not been to Cadillac. I need to get there.
Yep. I do
Um,
like Cadillac. I'm
heard
not.
wonderful things about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I like. I've done I've done the hill country thing, but I've
Yeah.
never been to Franklin's. I'd love to go there.
Yeah. Franklin was that kind of mecca experience. It proved out. Like it was one of those things where could it be that good? It was fantastic. But I
Did
love.
you watch his masterclass?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
cool.
I also just love Aaron on camera. I think he's personable,
Yeah.
um, approachable. Just I think he's done a lot for barbecue
Oh yeah.
in a really good way. Um,
He's taken a lot of mystery out of it.
hmm Yeah.
He's even before he signed up for the masterclass deal, his videos were really informational and
Yeah.
doing the world a lot of good. I mean, I
Yep.
learned some things from him. Even that I changed some things about fire management that I learned in his classes just by
Right.
watching.
Yeah.
So
He's the real deal. Really
yeah.
is. Um, well, this has been great. We do have kind of a series of what I just kind of call bonus questions. It's not a speed round, but they're questions that kind of
Okay.
give us a level playing field, just so we can compare you to Al Fragoni's answers, on a few things.
Okay.
But first, obviously we talked about it. May the smoke be with you. Star Wars influenced. Are you a Star Wars fan?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you have a favorite movie?
No,
No, you just love them all.
I
Equal,
like them all. I like the way that they all kind of feel the same.
yeah.
I
There,
like the
it,
stories. I like the characters. I think they do such a great job of, even when there's new characters and you're like, that guy's weird. I don't know if I
yeah,
like him. And then, somewhere in the middle of the movie, you're loving that guy.
yep,
So I think they just have that touch. They're really good at finding nobodies and making them into somebodies.
yeah.
I like
Which
that.
I think is the appeal of the story. I think it's the ultimate kind of underdog story, if you will.
Yeah, of
Uh,
course, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite character then? Can you
Oh,
identify who?
Chewbacca.
Yoda? Oh, Chewbacca. Okay, yes.
I love Chewbacca.
Well, that's because you do the best impression. That's why. So you were just waiting to do that impression the whole time. You're like,
I
oh
love
man, I hope he
Chewbacca.
asked.
And Yoda would be what Yoda might be next, but
Yeah,
Chewbacca's the man. I love Chewbacca.
Chewbacca is great.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so
And he's in every movie.
he is. He's kind of that rare character that
He's lived
just
forever.
yes. Um, so we talked about you're kind of a pit master. You do a lot of cooking. When you're outside cooking, what are you listening to?
I'm listening to Jimmy Buffett, Eric Lindell, Bob Marley, anything that's laid back and beachy.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe some mariachi music if I'm cooking tacos. Maybe some
Okay.
Pepe Aguilar, something like that.
Okay.
I love Mexico and everything about it. So,
All right. So what are you drinking when you're listening to some Jimmy Buffett and maybe a little mariachi?
well, there's always an obligatory beer or two.
Okay.
But these days, I've been trying to stay away from the beer. So it's more like maybe vodka with a splash of grapefruit.
Okay. Keeping it
Yeah.
light, keeping it clear. You know,
Yeah.
I understand. Uh, all right. So if you could only eat one region of barbecue, you can still eat Mexican food. You can still eat all those things, but just one American region of barbecue. We'll keep it kind of continental United States. We won't bring uh, in Central America anything like that or asados or which region would you pick? You kind of got the Carolinas, you got Memphis, you got Kansas City, Texas Hill Country, obviously. Where are you going?
I grew up, I was born in Kansas City, but their barbecue is too sweet for me. I'm a
Yeah,
Texas barbecue guy all the way.
yeah, me
That's my
too.
style.
Yep,
I like the
salt, pepper,
smoke.
and oak. Yep,
And I think if I had to pick a second, it'd probably be Carolina and whole hog as their whole
yeah,
hog. I don't like that tangy barbecue they put on there.
yep.
But
I
I
agree.
mean, honestly, I can eat barbecue anywhere, man, and be happy.
I
And I'll
believe
be in
you.
Memphis next week, and I'll be trying that. I'll be at the Rendezvous with my
Nice.
team for an event, and I dig that too.
That's great.
Yeah,
Um, Well, if you were going to step out this weekend and you were going to cook ribs, um, can you just real quick just kind of say this is how I do it? This is how I would cook some ribs. Are you going baby back? Are you going spares? And just what's your go to technique?
baby backs or trimmed up spares, either
Okay.
one's fine with me. I'm a membrane remover,
Okay.
so membranes out for me. I will rub them with a little bit of something like my honey mustard, my habanero honey mustard,
Mm-hmm.
or my ghost steak sauce. One of those. I want a little something spicy as a binder.
Okay.
It's not going to come through really spicy, but I like a little spicy binder. And then I usually go with my rub, which is called the Figgy Piggy blend.
Okay.
Uh,
I like it.
and I make that custom. And but lately I've been lazy. I just go with Mike Starr's porkin
Yeah.
because it's with the exception of a couple of ingredients, it's very very similar because I use
Okay.
the turbinado sugar and lots of it. It just makes the best crust, and
Yeah.
I like whole organic ingredients. I like to blend my own spices primarily, but Mike's is like right close to my heart. I like that one too. I
Yeah.
would do the blazing star porkin, and so I'd coat it all up, and then I don't know about all this 3-2-1 and all this whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a feel guy. If the pit starts off a little hot, it's not going to be 3-2-1
Yep.
because sometimes the pit's finicky, and to me, when it's bending nicely, then I wrap, and then when I wrap, I check about an hour later, and if a toothpick goes through nice and easy, or a knife or whatever, it's time to eat ribs.
Yeah.
I don't put too much science behind it other than that. Just feel it. I grew up working in restaurants, so I grew up knowing when a steak is done by the way it feels
Absolutely.
and sounds.
Yes, for sure. Well, this was great. I really appreciate you taking the time. Like
I
I've said,
apologize for being late. I really do. Sorry
oh, it's
about
okay. The people listening to the podcast have no idea.
that. Oh,
You,
well,
you just called
I was
yourself
right
out.
on time.
It's all good. Well, this was great. I'm a huge fan of what you guys are doing.
Thank you, Joe.
I'll be cheering for you guys from Tennessee. Look forward to the new products this summer. And I do thank you for being here.
And for Melinda's fans, make sure you sign up for that contest.
Yes, absolutely. It is going to be amazing. This is going to drop. This episode is going to drop on the final day that they can register. So
Okay.
we will we'll get that out. And if you're listening to this on Friday of this week or after, you've missed a chance to win just an absolute boatload of
Somebody's
Melinda's
really
products.
lucky. Melinda's, not just Melinda's.
Oh, the whole prize package is
Oh,
insane.
it's
Yeah,
a monster amount of Melinda's, but my God, you get everything in that
yeah.
package.
It's been a lot of
Sweet.
fun.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you for so much for joining us. And
Thank you.
thank you guys for listening. And as always, may the smoke be with you.
And also with you.
All right, hold on here. I'm going to hit stop.